Hello, everybody. Just a little background before we start on this podcast today. We will be joined by Chris and Randy, who are my teammates at America's High School, and we will be talking about racism, Spanish, and how they both affected our lives in basketball and with our families. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the IBM Podcast. I'm your host, Damien, and today I am joined by my high school basketball teammates, Chris and Randy. Would you guys like to tell us a little bit about yourselves before we start?
No.
Okay, let's get started. Okay, guys, I have 9 questions laid out for y'all today. The first being, what was the moment you realized you were treated differently because of how you looked or the language that you spoke? Randy?
I realized my graduation party. I was spending time with my family, and I realized that with other people, they spoke to them in Spanish, but then when it came down to me, they spoke to me in English. But I also saw this happening to my little sister in the party.
Okay, Chris?
Mine was at a basketball tournament in El Paso. We were playing this team from Midland, and they were calling me Mexican slurs like wetback and stuff like that.
All right, guys. Thank you. Let's move on to question number 2. Okay, guys. Question number 2 is, what have you done to not let others' views affect how you carry yourself?
I learned to speak Spanish more so I can be able to speak to others and have correct conversations with them.
All right, Chris?
I learned just not to give a shit about what other people say about me.
Yep, that's a good one. Okay, guys, so this next question is a real good one. I believe that we'll get a lot out of this one. So basically, there's a gorilla that attacks you once a week at random times. It could be at any time. It can never kill you, but it can injure you. Or everything you think happens. Which one are you taking?
Bro,
You have to pick one.
and it happens with the gorilla. It happens anytime.
Yes, it can be random. And then with the whatever you think happens.
Yeah, I'm going with the gorilla.
Okay.
Oh,
Chris?
okay. This is a thinker, but I think I'm gonna have to go with the gorilla one too.
I'm gonna have to go with the gorilla. I agree. I agree.
I have very intrusive thoughts.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So that brings us on to question number 4. Why did you want to learn Spanish, and who taught you Spanish, and what strategies did you use?
So I wanted to learn Spanish because I want to be able to speak to my family more. So the strategy that I use is to talk to my mom and my grandma more in Spanish, and just try to learn it as quick as I can.
All right, Chris?
Yeah, for me it's kind of the same. I want to learn more formal Spanish because my grandma on my dad's side doesn't know any English, so it was kind of hard communicating with her growing up. But I pretty much just learned from talking to her, grabbing little words that I can tell what they mean and just putting stuff together. More informally, I feel like I've learned from my friends.
Okay. No, yeah. I mean, for me, it's completely different than you guys. Obviously, eventually I learned Spanish so I can talk to my family. But at first, I learned Spanish so I can learn and know what the other team was saying in basketball.
Oh,
specifically the tornadoes.
Specifically.
Yes. There was a lot more teams also, but specifically them. They were the ones that made me want to learn Spanish.
Specifically.
Yep. So I can talk crap to them, and eventually it evolved so I can speak formal Spanish. Okay, guys, we're now on question number 6. No, we're not on question number 6. It's technically 5. Okay, guys, our next question is, do you believe that learning another language made you a better person? And if so, how?
Yeah, I think I did, just because now I am able to help more people out, especially speaking a language that they feel more comfortable in. But it's okay for me just because at least I'm helping others out.
Okay. Chris?
Yeah, I feel like learning Spanish helped me in multiple ways, but I feel like the main one is just being more, I guess, available in certain situations.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. For me, just at work, I'm able to answer the Spanish phone calls, which is a good thing and a bad thing because I can help people, but no one else in my office can, and sometimes it gets a little overwhelming. But I'm always glad to help. Okay, guys, that brings us on to the next question, which is: as time went on, how did you deal with discrimination from the outside, or even your own teammates?
I dealt with all the discrimination just by mostly ignoring everything that was said to me. But some of it, I used it as motivation to just keep pushing myself and learn everything as it goes by. That's really it.
Okay.
I would say from a basketball like perspective is just like using all like the negativity brought towards you to work harder and just prove everyone wrong.
Yeah. And then from the basketball environment, who were the people that were giving you this motivation? For me, it was our coach. I won't say his name. Was it the same for you guys?
not completely, but
Sometimes.
I'd say for more just like getting viewed like we went towards playoffs, getting viewed upon like we were like lesser individuals just
Yeah.
because of we were
Of our
small
ethnicity
athletic
and size.
ethnicity. Yeah.
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 Which ties into our name of our podcast, which is the IBM Podcast. IBM stands for Itty Bitty Mexicans. This was a title placed upon us by people in Midland and the Odessa area because of our stature and being Mexican. Okay, Chris, I believe you already answered this question in question one, but Randy, I guess this one goes for you. When was the first time you were called a slur in a basketball environment, and how did it make you feel?
For me, well, it's kind of similar to like Chris. It was a team from Midland, but it was not the same game. It was a different game. So throughout the game, there wasn't a bad slur. They just called us little Mexicans because obviously it's part of the name. We were small, and also we did run a lot, and they're getting tired of it. So it happened here in El Paso area, but that's what we should expect from Midland, especially talking to us like this.
And how did that make you feel?
Well, I didn't. Well, so I was little, so I didn't really take it personal, just because I didn't know what to expect from that, like how to react.
Yeah.
But it was pretty funny.
Yeah, now it's funny, huh? Like,
Yeah.
to think
'cause-
people just go out of their way to say stupid stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't wrong.
Okay. Okay, guys, we're almost done with this podcast. We're almost close to wrapping it up. But our next question is: did you ever have trouble communicating with a teammate or a family member? And if so, what did you do to solve this issue?
So I already spoke the same thing about my family, and it goes the same thing with my teammates as well. But this was at a young age, so I wasn't able to learn as much as I wanted to. But I at least did learn some Spanish to be able to at least have some communication with my teammates. Okay, Chris?
Okay. Well, to add on to what I said earlier, like my dad's side of my family, they're all Mexican. They all grew up speaking Spanish, and I feel like as I was growing up, I didn't understand a lot of what they were saying. So what motivated me to learn it was just that I could be involved in everything that they do, and just more involved in general, like with conversation.
All right, thank you guys. Those are really good answers. Okay, guys, that brings us on to this last question, which is related to our basketball ability because it would heavily affect it. Not only our basketball ability, but our life. Would you rather lose your right leg and left arm or left leg and right arm? I personally would rather lose my right leg and left arm because I am dominant in those and the opposite, and without them I would be screwed.
Randy, you want to go?
Yeah, so I would lose my left arm and my right leg just because I do most everything with my right hand. I'm stronger with my right hand, and then my left leg, that's my stronger leg out of both of them. So
What do you mean mostly everything with your right hand?
Like riding, like I just do everything on my right hand. Shooting a
Like, what are the
basketball,
things you do with your
dribbling,
left?
nothing really. I don't really do much with my left. I can't write. I could barely do anything.
Oh, okay. Well, I would pick the left arm, right leg for the same reason as Randy. I'm dominantly right-handed, and my stronger leg is my left leg.
Are you sure?
Yeah. No, he's
yes.
lying.
Yeah, I think you're lying, Chris.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah.
He said a no word.
I knew it. There you have it, guys. Well, thank you guys for tuning into our podcast, and hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you guys for being here. Hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Hello guys, just a little note here. Obviously, thank you guys for listening. Unfortunately, we were not able to cover as much as we wanted to on this podcast. We got a little sidetracked. We will be covering a lot more in our next podcast episode of IBM. We'll be talking more about our teammates' experiences and our experiences when we went out traveling. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.